Positive rotation. Ignition.
Welcome to Roll Call, a podcast of the 126th Air Refueling Wing, Illinois Air National Guard at Scott Air Force Base, Illinois. I am your host, Tech Sergeant Seth White. The Roll Call podcast is focused on people, mission, and community. Thanks for listening. Today, we have a fun conversation about personal mobility, safety, and the Air Force through the eyes of a young professional. Welcome to the show, and congratulations to Senior Airman Thomas Tate. Welcome, how are you?
Doing quite well. How about yourself?
I am doing well. We were having some pretty good banter just a little bit ago, and hopefully we can recreate some of that magic here. So it was good. But, just pinned on Senior Airman, so, that's got to be a great feeling, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's been a very, very good 2 years since I joined the unit. It almost feels like yesterday that I enlisted into the service, and I've been enjoying every single moment of it.
That's awesome. That is awesome. That is fantastic. One of the questions I wanted to ask, so you did say you've been with us for 2 years now, and it's been a good 2 years. Prior to that, do you have any family history in the Air Force? Like, what brought you to the Air Force and then specifically the Air National Guard?
I am fourth generation Air Force.
Wow,
My great-grandfather was a Tuskegee Airman during World War II. My grandfather served in the Vietnam War. My father served 26 years in the United States Air Force, retired right here at Scott Air Force Base as a Master Sergeant, and the fourth generation rounds out with me.
Yeah, wow. So you've got heritage, you've got history. So that actually leads me to wonder, was it an expectation? Was it an automatic go that, okay, you're definitely going to join the Air Force?
There's a little bit of expectation, you could say, but the choice to join the Air Force was completely my own. My dad was super encouraging when I decided that I wanted to join the Air Force, follow after him. Mm-hmm. Though we have similar career fields, he did things a little bit differently. He was an age mechanic. He was in the maintenance group for the first 12 years of his career. Then the last 14, he served as a logistics planner over at AMC across the base.
Logistics, okay. And we didn't specifically say what your job is. Your material management?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And so what brought you to that? Was that dad influence, or was that your own interest?
I've always found the idea of military logistics very interesting. And when I took my ASVAB and I received the jobs that I was qualified for because of my scores, I saw material management on the list and saw that it was a logistics discipline. And after that, I was sold.
Okay, good stuff. And he was sold. He was all in. Sign me up, take my money. Wait, no, pay me, pay me. So tell me a little bit of the dynamics there, like when your expectation from the outside before you joined, and then you get in, you're getting your hands dirty, you're doing the work. Did it meet the expectations? Did you have an idea, a pretty good idea of what you're going to be doing, and are you doing that?
I didn't fully understand the concepts of supply before I joined. After going to tech school and understanding the ins and outs of the job, and then coming back from my mess days and doing my trainings, and of course the last 2 years that I've spent in LRS, it's exceeded my expectations. I couldn't have picked a better career field more suited for me.
Oh wow! Shoot. Okay, because I know that you're an engaging, easy to talk to people person. Now, I was going to try to recruit you to public affairs, but it sounds like you're right in your sweet spot. So, all right then. Well, good stuff. So one of the things that we wanted to talk about, we did talk a little bit about your Air Force experience. I wanted to talk with you about something that is up and coming in the Air Force. Hopefully there's a future, and we'll talk a little bit more about that possible future. But about 2 years ago, Edwards Air Force Base started implementing a scooter program, so that airmen can use scooters around the base. And I thought that was pretty neat. Some folks here around the office thought it was pretty neat, and it has shown up in Air Force news a couple different places. Stars and Stripes. They have let me see, one of their titles: solar-powered electric scooters make their Air Force debut at Edwards in California. And so that was September of 2020. So here we are. a couple years later, it doesn't seem like it's really grown that much. But let's talk a little bit about that initial idea. Do you think that's a good go?
I love the idea of having scooter stations on Air Force bases. For one, you're saving on fuel for a vehicle if you own a vehicle, so you don't have to drive everywhere across base. You can just hop on a scooter and get to where you need to go without expanding fuel.
Yeah, and especially with it's volatile, it's dynamic. The price of gas up and down, it's a roller coaster.
That is the truth.
And that is itself a divisive topic. But in order to not spend gas or spend as little as possible, something like a scooter, I think is a pretty good idea. I don't know how well they've been managing it. And like I said, it's been a couple of years now. But given that time, I guess COVID is really the thing that kind of slowed everything down. Given that time, I would have thought that it would have gotten more popular. I saw through research that Hill started implementing scooters as well, and there are certain restricted areas, and so in those areas that the scooters won't go, and that's great that it's not just Edwards that has it. But do you think that's something that we could maybe implement here at Scott, or not that you have the authority to do it, but is it something you would like to see personally?
I personally would like to see it. It could be beneficial to a lot of people, especially those who don't own vehicles or don't have the ability to drive quite yet. It's perfect implementation for personal travel around the base without having to rely on a car.
Yeah. They talk about how you see like Lime scooters, I think was a thing for a while, and they were just showing up at all kinds of random places, discarded and not cared for and all that jazz. I think if we can avoid some of those things, then it would be a good go. Can you think of any other negatives that we'd have to look out for to make it work for us?
Primary negative would be, of course, maintaining like the scooter stations themselves. Like maintenance of anything is probably one of the biggest issues with like city bikes in big cities. And of course, like you said, Lime scooters, like maintenance is probably the most, I would say, prevalent issue when it comes to that. Overall, I think the pros mainly outweigh the cons.
Yeah. I think one of the considerations I think is always safety. Air Force is absolutely big on safety, and so it seems like they would implement requirements similar to riding a bicycle, making sure that you have your helmet. I think that would be good. You don't have that in the middle of the city. Someone just pays for a scooter or whatever. It's not like they're carrying a helmet on them. So they're just out there willy-nilly. Do you think that that's something that we would need to implement? Or?
Most definitely. Safety should be a number one concern at all times. And like you said, safety is very important to the Air Force. We train on it all the time with our CBTs. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Air Force loves safety. We gotta keep the asset. The number one asset in the Air Force is the airman. You, Senior Airman Tate, you're the number one asset in the Air Force.
Can't do the job without the personnel.
This is true. Can't do the job without the personnel. When we say safety, when you are out personally, do you ride helmet 100% of the time?
100% of the time. I never leave my house without the helmet.
Okay, yeah, a lot of good helmets out there too. I think with PEVs becoming more prevalent and more out there, more regular presence in cities and towns on the streets, I think that more people should wear helmets and protective gear as necessary. They've actually come out with a new helmet standard that fits. Now, a lot of these PEVs go around 20, and so in that range, a mountain bike helmet is pretty. A mountain bike helmet, that's rated at that range, that speed range, is probably one of the safest things you can get. A motorcycle helmet you could do, but that's a pretty heavy piece of equipment on your head.
Exactly.
And so you don't have to go all out motorcycle helmet. I have one that's just shy of a motorcycle helmet. The brand that chrome dome that I wear.
Oh yes, the very very stylish helmet that you got.
Yeah, it's got the Bluetooth in there too. Yeah, but so that's not quite a motorcycle helmet. It's really more considered a board sport or mountain biking helmet. Dirt bikers wear it too, but that's you have your own choices. So yeah, lots of variety there. Helmets are important. Protect your noggin. Protect your noggin. All right. So I'm gonna backtrack just a little bit because I kind of want to know a little bit about your future plans. I know that you said that so far up to this point that you've had an enjoyable time in the Air Force, the Air National Guard. What are your future plans?
I plan to make a career out of it, just like everyone before me. With my Air Force heritage, it's something that I've always wanted to do. Ever since I was 4 years old, I decided I'm joining the military at some point in my life and making it a career. And
Very
growth
cool.
is something that I'm always seeking. I always seek to be better, not just in my job, but as an airman in general. And as life goes on, I will always look for ways to grow. And whether my career continues here at Scott Air Force Base or another unit elsewhere in the country, I will be serving my country for as long as I can.
Okay. And you said continued growth and improvement. That sounds a lot like excellence in all we do. I'm just saying.
I take great pride in our core values.
Absolutely. That's good. Why specifically the Illinois Air National Guard? Why the 126th?
It kind of stems back from back in early 2019. I had a unscheduled departure from college, and with that unscheduled departure came with revamping my approach to wanting to join the military. My original plan was to graduate from a college, a four-year college, through an ROTC program and commission as an officer. But of course, some things happen, life happens. I had to come back home and replan my attack at my dream. And a good friend of mine who's in the maintenance group, his name is Julian Williams, recommended me to the Air National Guard. I looked it up, saw what I really liked out of it.
Sure.
I made an appointment with a recruiter, and the rest is history.
Okay, and the rest is history. We're super thankful to our recruiters and really just the individuals that are out there telling the Air Force story, talking about the Guard. And so had it not been for that and, of course, our recruiters, then we wouldn't have you here. Yeah, you're a valuable member of the team, and we welcome you. We're thankful for having you here.
I'm glad to be here. I love being in this unit. I love this unit. Nice.
So tell us a little bit about tech school. Once you got in and once you got going, did it rack your brain, man? Did it kill you? Was it rocket science?
There's some aspects of material management that are rather complex. Some parts that I'm still struggling with myself, but of course that's why we have training. That's why I have excellent supervisors to teach me what I need to know about the trade.
Yeah.
But overall, everything that I learned in tech school was very helpful to what I'm doing right now.
How long is the tech school?
It was 6 weeks.
6 weeks, okay. And how many of these skills are transferable into the civilian market?
Everybody needs supply of some sort. The key to every successful operation is logistics.
Yeah.
Amazon deals in logistics. It's a prime example. Every company that makes a product has to have a means of transporting said product to retailers to sell that product.
Absolutely.
So there's many jobs out there that are perfect for this AFSC, especially when you decide to get out.
So I've got to give you props and credit for the fact that you said Amazon is a prime example. I felt that in my heart.
Had to throw in a little pun there.
That was very punny. Yeah. So once you do get out and in the Air Force and the military in general, we have the opportunity to retire at a younger than average age, and so you have these skills, and you'll be able to put them out wherever and continue to work if you want to.
Most definitely. There are a lot of traditionals and LRS who work for Boeing doing the exact same thing they do here in the Guard, but in the civilian sector.
Nice. Okay. Okay, good stuff. All right, so we're going to transition just a little bit. Scooters are one way to get around, and what we've been calling these, the official term is a PEV, a personal electric vehicle. And I think that we're going to see more and more of these alternative modes of getting around are becoming more and more prevalent, and I would even say important. I myself I identify as a part-time environmentalist. I say part-time because sometimes it's not convenient, but if we all do a little bit, then it adds up to a lot. So
most definitely.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I've thought for the longest time. But there are a lot of other ways to get around. It's not just a scooter. It's personal electric vehicle is the term used for things like electric scooters, electric unicycles, electric skateboards, electric insert wheeled vehicle here, and also things like a Onewheel. So a Onewheel is a self-balancing electric skateboard with one fat wheel in the middle of it, about the size of a go-kart wheel. And that's a side stance, not to be confused with an electric unicycle, which is more of a forward stance like skiing instead of snowboarding. And it has a much larger wheel, more akin to a bicycle wheel. What's your experience with that? Do you have any of those?
I do. I own 2 Onewheels and an electric skateboard.
And an electric skateboard. Okay, tell us about each and why.
Onewheels, my inspiration for getting a Onewheel all stems from a YouTube channel that I watch. It's called Corridor Digital, and one of their members owns a Onewheel, and he rides it all the time on the channel. When I got my first Onewheel 2 years ago, I saw a video weeks ago of Ren Weichman, the guy who owns the Onewheel on Corridor Digital, doing a video about it. And after seeing that video, I decided I have to get me one of those.
Yeah, it's the future.
Most definitely, most definitely. I would argue it's probably the best personal electric vehicle on the market today.
Ooh, okay. So I'm gonna agree with you, and I gotta go ahead and fess up and say I too have a Onewheel. So I've been playing coy a little bit. We've actually ridden together, very short though because it was cold and my kids couldn't hang. But we've actually ridden together. We both have Onewheels. I have the Onewheel Pint X, and it's fantastic. But in addition to Onewheels, I mean, there are hoverboards. I cringe when I hear hoverboard.
As do I.
2 reasons. 1, I feel like they're more dangerous. And 2, I feel like a Onewheel is much more of a hoverboard than a hoverboard.
Exactly.
So, with those, if you're falling forward, you're already 2 toes down and compromised. But what do you think as far as the practicality of instead of scooters? What if instead of scooters, there was a fleet of Onewheels?
Oh, my goodness.
Do you think that is a realistic possibility for something like the Air Force?
Being a certified Onewheeler, I would love to see a fleet of Onewheels moving around bases. It's one of the greatest sights, seeing other Onewheelers whenever you're riding yourself.
Yeah. So it is. But so a scooter, I feel like a scooter is something you can have no experience and you can hop on and get safely from one point to another.
Most definitely.
I feel like you need some training with a Onewheel.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So if Colonel What's-a-Who's-It and General Who's-a-Bobbit is like, I need to get to the other side, let me hop on this Onewheel thingy, the likelihood of them, I don't remember which one's a What's-a-Who's-It and Who's-a-Bobbit, but the likelihood of one of them busting their face open, just with absolutely no training and trying to rush from one place to another, I just feel like it's higher.
Most definitely. Scooters are much more user-friendly. The Onewheel...
Beginner-friendly.
Beginner-friendly.
Yeah.
The Onewheel, I would say, if you've ridden a skateboard before, you have experience doing that, even snowboarding or surfing,
any
having
board
that
sport.
kind of experience. Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. It's a zillion times more fun than a scooter.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Hands down. A zillion times more fun. So you mentioned that your dad retired. Did you say 26 years?
26 years.
26 years in the Air Force, and my father, around that same time period, or duration rather, he also retired Air Force. And so I want to ask, as far as performance expectation goes, is he hard on you?
He's never been that critical of me because we have some degree of different mindsets when it comes to approaching things. I'm very pragmatic and to the point when it comes to working. He's much more folksy than I am, even though it's kind of hard to believe. I'm feeling pretty folksy right now.
Right on. Okay. So, and I'm talking Air Force. So does he have like, okay, son, you're going to retire as a master sergeant, and I need you to ride this thing out. Has that conversation ever happened?
That's never, ever come up in our conversations. He tells me about his experiences, and a lot of times his experiences turns into advice for me going forward in my career. He's a very wise man, of course, retired in NCO. He has some knowledge.
Yeah, some experience. He's been around the block.
Most definitely.
For sure. Yeah, So, yes, my dad and I, we've talked quite a bit about Air Force career. We've gone, not arguing at all, but just kind of gone back and forth. And he has been a career advisor. And, he'll drop some gems and he'll leave it there.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, here's the information, here's the knowledge, here are the resources. You're an adult, And so that's really been that. So tell us a little bit about your riding experience. Are you you strike me as an adrenaline junkie, a live and die by my tricks guy. You probably do backflips off of buildings and land riding switch. No? Is that you?
I mean, I wish I was that talented of a rider. There are so many other riders out there in the community that can just rip it on a one wheel.
Yeah.
The only real trick that I can do on a one wheel is a tailspin.
Okay.
A little bit of a tail slide every now and then.
Oh, for sure. Right on. I gotcha. Yeah, I got a little bit of that, and I just, I carve it up a little bit, but I mostly just like to get from point A to point B in a really fun way.
Oh yes.
Cut through parking lots, cut across grass, and stuff like that. Ride to the dream. I actually just I was looking at my app, and I've had it since the beginning of the year. So I've had it for a good 5 months now, and I hit 700 miles.
Nice.
730 miles, and it's not just a toy. You can really get out and about. So have you gotten any pushback like, oh, why would you spend so much money on this toy or anything like that from anybody?
A few people. I've had a few people say, when you spent $2,000 on a electric skateboard, like you could have put that money somewhere else.
And they do start lower than that.
Oh yes,
but the choice that you made for what you wanted and the extras and whatever was around there. Yeah.
Oh yes, I get occasional pushback every now and then. You spent all this money on an electric skateboard. You could have put that money somewhere else.
Whew, man. I mean, 700 miles. That's a significant amount of gas, and it's a lot more fun way to get around.
Oh, yes.
So a significant amount of gas savings, I should say.
A lot of times I use my one wheel as a means of decompressing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if I'm having a terrible day and the weather's nice, I'll just hop on my one wheel, take a cruise, listen to some music while I'm riding, and just vibe out.
Absolutely. And just kind of let the shred carry you.
Oh, yeah.
Just float on. I, many a time, will just absolutely decompress. It's been called an antidepressant machine. Like it's just, it just feels good to get out and ride, especially if you've got, and this is not necessarily the particular product that we have. This can be, an electric skateboard. You've got multiple products. But it's good to get out and do something. During the time of being locked down, that was part of the reason that I got it, was to get out and, just kind of free my mind a little bit, like Morpheus would say.
Most definitely. When I was doing the second round of COVID duty in Springfield, I brought my one wheel with me. And I would just ride around Springfield to decompress after the workday, just sort of break out of the grind.
I was riding out and about, and then I got a message from a friend. They said, Sess, are you in Mascoutah riding right now? I said, I am riding right now, but I'm not in Mascoutah. I know a buddy who is. And then I think, do you remember I actually sent you a message?
I remember I was about halfway into my usual ride around my hometown in Mascoutah, just down the road. And you told me that a friend of yours asked you if you were riding in Mascoutah. And then you sent me the message and I connected the dots. I'm like, yeah, that's definitely me riding around town.
Yeah. Yep. And that friend, by the way, she's in the unit. Shout out to Molly6. Thanks for the nonsense sighting. That was a Tate sighting. Oh yeah, and I had one other thing. This is a joke specifically from me to you. All right, listen. What do you call any test that Thomas takes?
I don't know.
A Tate measure. That was terrible. As we round out this discussion, I think I want to get a few of your words, not just from the Air Force standpoint of riding electric, but just in public in general. Do you think that it's a general good thing or not?
I think it's a very, very good thing for the public, especially like we've stated several times in this podcast, the rising gas prices. I know for sure everyone's feeling the pain of that. I drive a vehicle that takes diesel, and I'm at $5.23 a gallon.
Jeez. Wow. That's bonkers. Oh, smurf that.
$5.23 a gallon is not something that I enjoy. I really miss the days when it was $4.40.
Sure.
For a gallon of diesel.
Oh, golly. It's weird to hear you say, I miss the days of $4.40 per gallon. That's oh man, that's incredible. But yeah, just from those concerns, from the environmental concerns, I think it is really pleasant to see more people out riding electric, getting outside, getting some sun, and taking these alternatives to traditional travel. So I think it's a very good thing. Senior Airman Thomas Tate, I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and hopefully we can have you again on another topic, and I look forward to that.
As do I.
My name is Braden Wright. I'm looking to go towards civil engineering, further my education benefits, and better the civilian market.
I'm Trinity Romero. I'm in Security Forces, and I aspire to be a Security Forces officer.
The 126th Air Refueling Wing is on the Air Force Connect app. You can find it where you download apps for your device. Once it opens, go to the bottom right. Click the star. It'll take you to the Add More section. You can search for the 126th and tap the plus sign next to the 126th insignia to add the 126th to your app. If you're having thoughts of suicide or know someone in crisis, call the Military Crisis Line, 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. Press 1. Also, you can chat through their website, suicidepreventionlifeline.org. That's suicidepreventionlifeline.org. Another way to get help is the crisis text line. Text HELP, H-E-L-P, to 838-255. The crisis text line. Text HELP, H-E-L-P, to 838-255. I want to thank you for listening. If you want to pass along some information, you can email roll call at 126.arw.pa.mm. .org at us.af.mil. I'm not going to repeat it. You can just rewind. Roll Call is a 126th Air Refueling Wing podcast focused on people, mission, and community. I'm Tech Sergeant Sess White. Till next time.
100, 50, 30, 20, 10.